And yeah, I'll have to drop the link a few places once I actually get it going. And there we go. Looks like we're live. Just gotta grab the link from wherever that is. I decided to. I don't know how to find it in the live streaming screen, so I'm just going to like go to my channel myself and then just grab the link from there. It's
Okay.
and I guess the video's going out. Okay, let me change the name on there. I didn't change it this time. Oh, we got Sir Creepington Pasta here. Welcome. How are you doing today, my good sir? Hey, your ex, thanks for coming. I'm doing pretty decent today. It's been a bit of a long day. I just barely got back from work. Um, had a bit of a drive and some traffic and everything, so I didn't have time to. If you noticed, I didn't have time to put together a thumbnail or like a visual. So it's just this guy here. I can wiggle around if I want to, but yeah, we're a little janky, but that's okay. We're here. So what have you been up to today, Nightmare?
Actually, not a lot. Spent most of my time on Discord and tried to write, but then fell asleep. So, not a lot.
Well, at least you tried.
I
That's
did try.
the
To be fair,
important
I did
thing.
try.
Yeah, I haven't written for a little while. I need to kind of get back into it because I have all these ideas of stuff, but I'm being too perfectionistic to actually do it. But I didn't know you wrote, so we'll have to talk about that a little bit once we kick
Yeah,
these
you
off
didn't
and
know.
everything.
You. Oh my gosh, you have a lot to learn.
That's why I have guests on because I'm just like I just don't know these cool things about people, and I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
you have a lot to learn.
We'll wait a minute or two. I'm just gonna drop the link a couple places to let people know about it, and then we'll be able to get started into the questions. And you guys can ask your questions as you have them and everything. Get started into the
All right.
and, yeah. Okay, looks like we picked up one or two more people, so I'm gonna get started. Um, yeah, I guess first things first. Like you guys know me, obviously, Terror Talks. I probably sound pretty crappy on this mic and everything, but I'm hosting, so you probably already know me. Um, and today we've got with us beautiful Nightmare. Why don't you introduce yourself, Nightmare?
Um, I am Beautiful Nightmare. I am a horror author and brand new narrator, and I'm sure most of people have heard of me, so there's not much else to tell.
Let's see. So you started out with writing first, and then got into doing narrating after that.
Yes.
Okay. Um, what got you into like? What made you want to start a channel?
Um, being friends with all the narrators.
Yeah, that
Honest to
definitely
God, that's my
helps.
answer.
On Instagram? Sorry, I
I
guess you
seem to do all right with it.
gotcha. Okay. And how long you been writing for?
Oh, I've been writing since I was 13.
Has it been horror this
Just,
whole time?
no, it started out like with romance and fantasy, and then about, I think, a year ago, I switched to horror, which I seem to do better in that field.
I'm a little jealous because I kind of like I wrote a little bit in high school and stuff, but it's only been in the last like year and a half that I started doing any sort of writing for real, and that was just with horror myself. So like you have like writing experience under your belt and everything. Um,
Yeah.
oh, we got a question already from Boggs. How did you come up with the pen name Charred Spleened Blackened More? Or is that real?
Okay. Boggs, that's a bullshit pen name. However, my pen name is Charlie Blackmore.
Oh, I see.
He's just being a smartass. Um, I didn't come up with the pen name. My husband did.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at Boggs
No
because
worries.
he does this to me all the time.
What's your favorite that he's like? If you have a favorite that he's dropped so far?
No, I didn't come up with my pen name. My husband did.
No,
I
I meant
was
your
actually.
favorite Boggs nickname. Sorry.
Oh my god, I Boggs has given me too many nicknames.
Yeah, that's what I like about the horror community. Stuff like that. They're just like the running jokes and everything that go on. Took me a while to get to understand the one with Lady Spookaria being Lady Pangoria. Um,
Yeah.
I literally had
Oh
to
yeah.
ask. Yeah. Um, let's see. And I have a bit of a list of questions. I guess what have been some of the biggest things you've learned about horror through writing, through narrating, what have you?
Um, what are the biggest things I've learned about horror?
Yeah, like what makes for good horror, and like and how can good narration add to good horror? I guess.
Um, what makes for good horror is things that aren't redundant, like new original ideas. Every story is different. Like, let's see, for instance, when I write, all of my stories end up connecting to one another,
Oh,
whether everybody sees it or not. Like, they're all in the same universe.
that's really
So,
cool.
yeah. But redundancy in horror, it can happen. Makes it kind of bad. When it comes to narrations, it's basically about how you portray the story in your mind. Um, you have to be able to envision it and then just kind of go from there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you have to kind of get in the headspace a little bit to be like, what sort of voice do I need for this? It's like,
Yeah,
and
like are they scared? Are they, like aggressive? It's just it depends on how you perceive what you're reading.
mhm, okay. And do you have a narration that you're most proud of?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you have a story like what like narration like video like project would you say that you're most proud of?
Ooh. Video wise, I think it would be probably um Time Has Forgotten My Neighborhood, the one that As the Raven Dreams wrote. That actually was very fun to narrate.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't gotten to listen to that one, but we'll get to listen to that one in a little bit. Um, it'll be my first time as well as I'm sure a lot of you. So it's nice to know that we're going to be um, it's nice to know that we're going to be starting on a good foot and everything. Just to know there's more to come of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as writing, like what would you say your favorite story that you've ever written was, regardless of
Ooh.
attention from people, like your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is a story that I wrote called Leather. It's very intricate. Um, Not everybody probably has heard of it, but basically the essential of the story is this guy is a carpenter and he turns people into furniture.
Oh, that's unique. I don't think I've ever heard a story like that.
You should read it.
You have to send me a link to it. Um, and
Dang
the
it, Boggs. Leather Strip, great band.
I haven't heard of them. I'm guessing they might be real, but with the bogs, who knows, honestly.
It's hard to tell with him.
Yeah. And I guess another question I've got, like you mentioned that you've been friends with narrators and stuff. How did you kind of get into, like, get connected with some of the narrators that you know, like Boggs and everybody else like that?
Um, basically, I took a chance with sending Leather to As the Raven Dreams, and he narrated, which absolutely astounded me. Like, I really didn't expect him to like it. I was like, he's gonna hate it, it's not gonna come of anything. Then the video dropped, and I was like, holy shit. So I messaged him, and then every day from then on, me and him talked, and then he kind of introduced me to everybody else. So it's taken about 9 months, but I'm there. I pretty
Awesome.
much know a lot of the horror narrators. So it's fun. Very,
Yeah.
very fun.
It's nice chatting with people on like Discord and stuff. And
Oh, definitely. I chat with so many people throughout a day. It's ridiculous.
yeah, I probably spend a bit, like, I haven't been very active on Discord lately just because I've been distracted with, being sick, getting better, and then getting things back on track. But it's one of my favorite things to do in the day, honestly. Just chat with people. It's nice to have people to give feedback on just like, what do you guys think of this thumbnail? Um, Anybody have any stories? It's just nice to have those connections and also just
Yeah.
like stuff like this to have people actually show up because like most of the people here are narrators and I'm really happy about you guys that aren't narrators that decided to come too. Um, but yeah, like very supportive community.
Yeah.
So,
It's very fun to talk to people on Discord. Because you kind of see their normal self other than their um, narrating persona, if you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah,
get to know them instead of just their channel.
yeah, and see like their see their new pictures and stuff like that, you know.
Boggs, you have to stop. I can't.
Yeah. So what questions do you guys have for Beautiful Nightmares? Question like she has said so far that she actually has been doing like horror writing for quite a while. Started doing narration um, pretty recently, I think. Um, what questions do you guys have for?
Question. That's a very good question, Magnetar. Okay, so Magnetar asked, where do I come up with all my stories? Um, Basically, I just step outside and kind of look around, and then an idea pops into my head. Um, there's no real creative process to it. It's just like, oh hey, there's a field. Imagine if I was walking through it, and then I'm like, idea. So I just go and write it.
Yeah, the sort of thing where like you see something, you're like, how could that be scary? What situation would it
Yeah,
take for that to be scary? And then you just write that.
basically, yeah. Like the other day, I looked at a tree and I was like, imagine if there was someone hiding behind it, and I was like, oh, I have an idea.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of how I've written too, just because I kind of that's an interesting question. I got distracted. Because my brain would just like make up different stuff to be like, okay, this isn't real, but imagine though, you look up and there's just somebody staring through the window at you, just like from above while you're in the dark basement. Um,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that's not real. Like, but I've learned to kind of channel that to my brain's what if kind of thing to kind of paint this really vivid picture of things. Um, and yeah, it's actually pretty fun to do because you never know when you're like. It sounds like you kind of seek out inspiration. Me, I just kind of get it as I go. Make a random note on my phone to be like, what if there was like a skeleton that was buried in the sand and like its eyes were dripping sand? Like that'd be a cool thing. um,
yeah. No, for me, it's just I could be driving somewhere, like driving to my grandma's or like to my brother's, and I'm just like, hey, that looks kind of weird. I'm gonna write about it.
yeah. So we got some more questions. So, I'm guessing Boggs is asking like, what are your sort of, I guess I could just read the question. So like, there's different calibers and like types of people doing this stuff. What are your preferences? Cold readers, rehearsed readers, voice actors, personifiers. That's it. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, I okay, so voice actors, kind of I prefer, I mean, I really don't have a preference. It's just kind of whatever I hear. If I like it, that's great. If I don't, kind of oh well situation. Voice actors though, I I don't know, there's just something about the way they do it specifically. Like it doesn't sound like it's been rehearsed. It just kind of sounds like, hey, I'm just gonna sit down and read this, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I like voice actors. I don't know. Like, I mean, I can't really tell if somebody's like rehearsing something versus just like cold reading it. Um,
Yeah.
and as far as like how I do it, I kind of try to. I don't know that I rehearse a little bit. I try to throw in some voice acting a little bit so that it makes it so that I can get the delivery right. 'Cause sometimes I need to just like in stream recording, record and record a line, like get it right and to avoid hissing my s's too much. Um, oh, thanks, Tool. Um, and Magnetar, like his method is like kind of the cold reading, and I know of one or two other narrators that do that. They like don't read through the story; they just kind of feel the emotions as they go. Magnetar is saying he only glance at the story generally; he just likes to react to it in real time. Yeah, I guess my improv skills aren't that good to be able to improvise and everything, but yeah. See. And another question from Creepy Con Girl. Who or what got you into writing horror?
Um, there was not a okay, so I really love H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe. Kind of grew up on those. But what got me into writing horror was I took a picture for Instagram. It was of the field I lived next to in the winter, and then I kind of wrote this whole little snippet that went along with it, like as a girl was running from something, and then I kind of just left that there for about a year, and then I went back to it, and I was like, this is a good idea. So I just kind of ran with that one. And that one turned out to be a story called Guests of Honor. So,
Hmm, interesting
and
title.
I just kept writing from there. So,
Nice. Yeah. All right. We'll see you, Magnetar. Thanks for coming. It's been nice of you to join us and everything.
bye,
Um,
Magnetar.
let's see. My question. I lost track of it. It's been a long day. I guess what have you learned? Like, what skills have you learned to polish your your like writing of horror to make it like gripping instead of just like there was a scary thing and there was a monster and it chased and it scared me and I now I'm real scared. Like, how did you learn to progress beyond that?
Um, I don't think I've really progressed beyond that. Basically, how I write all involves descriptive imagery.
Uh,
Um, yeah, it works wonders. That I don't even try hard with, to be honest. I just sit down and write, and then I'll reword a phrase or a sentence here and there, and then it turns out kind of okay at first. Then I'll go back and like go to edit, and then I'm like, this doesn't really add up right. So I'll go in and fix it, and then it turns out kind of great, or so people tell me.
um, yeah. Oh, hi, Josie. Welcome. We've
Let me
got 10
see.
people here. There's so many. It's double
To be
digits.
fair, I did drop a link in like two places.
Oh, I appreciate it. People people aren't coming for me. I don't think they're just like, oh hey, I know them. I know her.
Oh no, no, don't come for me.
You have friends. Accept it.
Apparently, I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, and they like. I guess a lot of these people just like. I know most of them, so it's probably like kind of mutual friends as well. So I'm sure they like if makes you feel better. They're probably here for like both of us and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, so you don't feel so self conscious or something. Oh,
for
and welcome, Four Shot Pastas. Glad you followed the suggestion. Glad the algorithm could bring you here. Let's see, and we did have a question way earlier. I don't know if you do many collaborations, but like, um, this question is in that area. From Creepy Pine Girl, is there a narrator you haven't collaborated with on a story yet that you would like to?
Oh, okay. Currently, let's see. The only collaborations I've done was with Silver Threads, and that's on his channel. Um, one with Magnetar, literally like a few days ago. That's on my channel. Um, I just sent in a um, audio for a collab with Disturbed K and a whole bunch of other people, and then I'll be in Miss Creepy Tale's next collab. But anyway,
Oh,
I just want to collaborate with everybody. Just eventually, I will walk up to them. Not really walk up, but like kind of DM them in Discord and be like, "Will you work with me, please?"
and what's been your experience with doing that? What is it you get out of it? Is it just like you just like working together with people, like trying to see what you can create together? Or
Um, they teach me things. Like the people that have been doing it longer, I kind of pick up a little of how they do it versus how I figured I'd do it. Um, like some of them sit down and actually like read through the story and try to get a feel of how they perceive their story, and then other people give me advice like, "Hey, you have too much mouth clicking." That I know that
oh, I hate
that's the hard one because it doesn't matter how much water I drink, you can still hear the mouth clicking.
yeah, I kind of intentionally had my voice, but like I don't know if it picked up or anything. My microphone might be too bad to pick that up. Which in which case it's kind of a blessing if it is. Um, let's see. Oh, we've got another question from Boggs. Do you have many alternate voices that you do?
Oh, Bogsy, you're wanting to kill me. Um,
You don't have to demonstrate them. You can tell us about them.
there's actually I can do a lot of different voices. I choose not to. Um, I can sound like Gizmo from the Gremlins movie, which is pretty funny. Um, but I usually save that one for McDonald's drive-through people because it scares them. um, I can sound like a child. That for sure creeps a
Ooh,
lot of people out.
that is creepy. I can't. I don't think I could do kids. My voice is too deep and low to really pass as a kid. Some people
I
like
mean, you could try, but I think it might creep a lot of people out.
because it's too accurate. Or it's like there's something creepy about a grown man trying to
You would
sound like a child.
know. I think you could portray the child aspect, but you would kind of portray it like they were psycho. Like you would be the killer kid that runs around and slices people's throats open or something like that.
Oh,
I think you could do it though,
well,
but you'd have to
thanks.
be the killer.
As long as I sound menacing, I could be a kid.
Yeah,
I'll take
I
it as
think
a
you could do it.
compliment.
It was a compliment. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Do you think you'll ever use any of those voice, like maybe not Gizmo, for a narration, just because it's like, but like, do do you ever see yourself using them in the future for any narrations?
Yes, actually, I'm writing two stories. One involves a child, um, which she has to be really creepy, and I'm kind of creepy anyway, so I can nail that one 100%. And then there's another story that has this. It's a shadow figure, but he has a voice. Um, but I'm going to voice that one with my little. I call it my gremlin voice because it's on point with the Gremlins movie.
I'll have to watch that movie so I can get a feel for the voice. Um,
You need to because it's on point.
and that's the is that the one with the plane wings, or is that the one with like "Don't let them eat after midnight"? Like, or is both of those the same?
It's the Gremlins movie is basically it's the little
Well,
they
Fuzzy
look like
Bears.
Furbies.
Yeah.
They look like Furbies, but you don't feed them after midnight.
Okay.
Otherwise, they turn into something else. Gremlins.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
But I can sound like it, so.
Well, you have to let me know once you do use it. Do they perchance? No, I was about to ask, like, is water is evil something they say? And I'm like, no, I think that was in reference to our conversation earlier. Um, just about like avoiding the mouth clicks and stuff. Boggs, you need to drink your
um,
water. This, this is a threat. Drink your water.
Look, it doesn't matter how much water I drink, I still have the mouth clicks.
Yeah, it's a pursuing thing. It just happens. Something I do is I just like try to reduce it in like as I record, just so that later on I don't have to like pick it out in the middle of a word. Um, Noise gate and stuff helps a lot for when it's between words, like when I'm about to be like, so, um, like when I'm getting back into talking after taking a break or something, like, but yeah. Oh, and we did have another question. I'm trying to find it here. It was, oh, I don't know where it went, but I remember it. Kalala Benson, um, was, she asked, how do you deal with writer's block?
Ooh. Truthfully, I sit down and watch Friday the 13th, the original ones, not the remakes. I like the remakes, but the original ones are the classics.
Hmm.
Um, or I'll watch Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, basically anything horror related. And then somehow my brain picks up on an idea. Like I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie like 2 days ago. And then I saw the chainsaw and I was like, imagine if I was sawing into somebody's heart with that. Like what could I do? What could I do with that? So
What kind of damage could I
um
do?
yeah, my mind goes to dark places.
Yeah, it's kind of me too. Sometimes I'm literally just like, how could somebody? Well, I don't really write people dying in my stories all that often, but I have ideas.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
lost my
that's
headphone. um,
oh it's okay.
I have like ideas and stuff. I'm like, what if like this happened and like murder mystery kind of thing, and I won't go into details, I guess, in case anybody's squeamish, but may incorporate that one into a story and stuff. Yeah. Oh, the dark side does have cookies. I guess there's that. Yeah.
Yes, cookies are the best. You
It's like
have to
it's
have cookies.
pretty tempting. And apparently,
It is
Bog
pretty
says
tempting.
fiber helps, but I'm not sure if he's talking about like he's talking about narrating or just digestive health. You know what I mean?
I'm assuming that he's talking narration wise.
Yeah. I've never heard that one. That's actually a new one for me. Um,
I haven't either.
I've
All
heard,
I've heard is use drink a lot of water.
yeah, and I've heard the apple one, like where it's just like have an apple because it does things. All right, maybe having a bit of a bumpy stream at the moment. Glad to see you guys are having fun in the chat and everything. I don't really know how realistic like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is with what happens with the chainsaws because I haven't seen that movie either, and I've only used chainsaws a little bit, and that's just been on wood. But
Yeah.
yeah, probably at the point where you can actually play the audio for the video. Since we've got Magnetar here, we could him. Um, oh, he's not here. I forgot. Um, I don't know, you kind of said whichever. I'll go with the Time Has Forgotten My Neighborhood, but I will drop the link into the chat for Eve and stuff. But yeah, any fiber helps with writer's blockage. Okay, I get it now.
I just read that.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just hop on in to Time Has Forgotten My Neighborhood. It's by As the Raven Dreams. And yeah, this is on her channel, not on mine, obviously, because it's her narrating and stuff. But yeah, give you guys a taste of what she does. Should be starting in a second. How long is this intro? Does it go for like a minute or so?
I think so. I keep leaving it in there for some reason. Um, I haven't worked out my little script for my intro, so I just keep leaving it blank and forgetting to take it out.
They want to add like a narration thing over the top of it, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's like ghosts and ghouls, welcome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a tough thing.
On a clear day, you can
Here we
see
go.
forever from where
Oh
you
yeah,
stand
it's definitely a
to
tough
the
thing.
end of the world. When the sun is shining and the sky shines a bright blue, you can stand on your roof and bear witness to the entirety of the city and even the natural formations that meet the skyline. It's honestly surprising how beautiful a small Midwestern town can be when the circumstances are perfect. But that, as stated, is on a clear day, when the sun is shining and there's nothing more than a gentle breeze dancing off of the road and rustling the leaves of the nearby trees. I miss those days. Those warm days that are outlined with a slight overcast. Those spring days where you could feel a gentle rain as it blew in your direction, where a delightful petrichor washes up and fills your nostrils. On those days before the fog fell over the friendly town, you could comfortably enjoy the outdoors no matter what season it happened to be. I miss those days where I could go out and greet the neighbor while I went for a walk with my dog, where I could get home, have a nice cup of coffee, and sit in my living room watching daytime television to pass the time. More than all that, I miss the feeling of time passing, that sensation as you watch the seconds tick away on a clock. There was a point in my life where I never even knew that time was something you could feel internally, but now I know. I would say that it's felt like an eternity, but it hasn't felt like anything. It hasn't felt like a day, an hour, or even a damned second. Every single moment is the same moment, no matter how much changes around me, around the town. My mind is unable to comprehend time changing anymore. It's a concept that I'm struggling with in my head. There is no today, tomorrow, yesterday. There is simply the right now, and nothing beyond that, nor before that, for me. I can remember previous events, but my memories resulted in there being no beats and no counting. Nothing exists beyond this exact moment, and this moment is every moment at the same time. Time not existing isn't the only strange occurrence in my town. There have been a few other things I've witnessed. The first time I went outside, I noticed that there were people outside, all performing various activities, but slowly. My neighbor, Douglas, would walk out his door, go to his mailbox, open it, put a letter in, then walk back into his house. I could see him in the front window as he stepped into his living room, sat on the couch, and grabbed the remote, pressing a button to, I'm assuming, turn on his television. He then turned off the TV, grabbed an envelope seemingly from nowhere, then started the cycle over again. I watched him do this at least a dozen times. The cycle never stopped, and it never faltered. He always did the same thing. I started noticing the details that may not be important, but they were never different. He always pressed the power button on the remote, then channel up 3 times. He always sat the remote at the same angle on the couch when he placed it down. The TV always showed the same clip of a dog food commercial. The letter that seemingly appears from nowhere always has the same name and address on it. He always takes the same number of steps, the same number of breaths. He blinks the same number of times. I would say that I watched him for a long time, and it took a while to figure this all out, but as I said before, there is no time. It's like I watched him once, and a million times all at once, and I then knew all of the details. It was like instantaneous knowledge that I had also spent years learning and understanding. Nothing I could do would stop him from his pattern. I attempted to sabotage him by locking his front door. It opened like it was never locked. I tried to hide his remote from him. When he reached for it, it was there again. I tried to smash his TV. I tried to remove his mailbox. When he went to interact with anything that I had moved, it was always where it was supposed to be, yet it was also where I had left it. Again, everything existed in multiple places simultaneously, yet it was like I had never done anything to the items he interacted with. I had one more idea to try and break him from his pattern. The only thing I hadn't tried to interact with was him. I stood outside of the house and watched him as the letter materialized in his hand. I watched him as he got up from the couch and walked toward the door. He pulled the door open, and I stood there. I expected him to either notice me or run into me. Unfortunately, it was the latter that occurred. He walked forward and ran straight into me. When he collided with my body, he didn't stumble back. I didn't fall or get knocked down. When the two of us collided, something inexplicable happened. When our corporeal forms touched, I began to feel a seemingly random, debilitating pain in my head. The only way I could think to explain it would be to have you place your head in a vacuum chamber. The pressure was immense. I'm not sure if the issues with time passing had anything to do with it, but I would almost say that I felt all of the pain that Douglas had ever felt in his life within a single instant that lasted an eternity. While that alone was terrifying, it ended with me seeing the end of his life, from his birth to his death. I felt the mental strain as his body shut down. I felt the pain of those around him. When it all finally ceased, I opened my eyes and noticed that Douglas was gone. He was no longer walking along his determined path, where he should have been after walking into, or I guess through me, was simply a pile of ashes. Somehow touching me caused him to completely disintegrate. I stared in horror. Had my actions murdered my neighbor? Was there something about me in this existence that made me a harbinger of death? Or did I release him from this strange place, and he was now able to live his life back in reality? I decided it wouldn't be for the best to keep testing that theory. I had no way of knowing what happened to Douglas, and I honestly didn't want to go through that agony again. With him being gone, I decided to go through his house and see if anything had changed. To my surprise, everything that I had moved still existed. The smashed TV, the broken remote control, the torn pieces of paper from this letter. Despite this, nothing he was interacting with was there anymore. It was as if him ceasing to exist also destroyed everything that he was able to manifest, and the mess I had created was all that existed in his memory. I've also checked out other parts of my neighborhood, only to find the same thing in every house. Every single person had their cynical routine that they would perform, and nothing I did would stop it. Miss Newton would fill her washing machine with a basket full of clothes, walk up the stairs and light a cigar, all while sitting at her kitchen table. After a single drag, she'd walk the 9 steps to the basement door, go down the 11 steps, and fill the machine with the same laundry. Down the way, Mr. and Mrs. Pearson seemed to be looped in an argument. The entire loop plays out with them in the living room. He's sitting in his chair, and she's standing in the doorway. The two of them are yelling at each other, but the sounds that they create are certainly not human. They sounded mechanical, almost like faulty gears grinding against each other. She walks into the kitchen and smashes a plate. Then he walks in and she stabs him with a shard from the plate. He falls to the ground and bleeds out. She steps over him and seems to go to the bathroom and take a shower. Like the others, this loop just keeps playing through, and I've watched him die more times than I could possibly count. Honestly, this is the one loop I considered stopping. I considered grabbing her and seeing if she would stop existing like Douglas did, but I can't bring myself to do it. I've honestly been to every house in the neighborhood, and I know every intricate detail of every loop with every person. What's bothering me is, as of late, whatever that means to a timeless existence, something has been different with each of the loops. The actions are mostly the same, but they are in minor shifts. I witnessed the Pearsons fighting like they had been, but when she broke the plate and attempted to stab him with it, he was too far away from her to make contact. Despite this, the ceramic piece still seemed to float and move like it had made contact, and a pool of blood still appeared on the floor. She then walked away as I exited, and Mr. Pearson continued into the kitchen. His loop played out as it should have, with her no longer in the room. He grabbed his neck and fell onto the floor with Mrs. Pearson in the other room. While these strange glitches aren't happening every time, I am noticing one change that is seemingly more permanent. Every single one of my neighbors seems to be starting to decay. Each and every one of them seems to have changed to a gray hue. Some of them have flesh that is pulling away from the bone. I checked them all, and it's the one thing that they all have in common. They're all withering away. Their decay seems to be the only thing that is happening in time. I can't tell how fast it's happening, but my brain is able to comprehend that it's not instantaneous, a stark contrast to everything else. It seems that as I watch them play out their routines through 1,000 or more cycles, they seem to appear more and more disheveled and more decomposed. With my neighbors almost literally falling apart in front of my eyes, I've considered whether or not it would be merciful to touch them and turn them to dust. Is it better to decay slowly or disappear instantly? I don't want them to suffer, but I also don't want to do something and kill off all of my neighbors if there's even the slight possibility that this fog will lift and everything will go back to normal. I couldn't live with myself if my actions hurt innocent people, if I had managed to do something that actually brought harm to other people that had nothing to do with the circumstances. At this point, I'm not sure what to do. I've been watching them decay for what I assume has been a while. Some of the neighbors are hitting further levels of decay. Some of them have graying muscle and bone exposed to the air, yet they continue to step through their routines. They continue running through their mundane tasks, doing the laundry, fighting each other, watering their lawn, and yet they are literally falling apart. I think I'm down to one last option in this situation. I have to try to get out of the neighborhood. I'm out of options. Nothing else is changing. My neighbors are still fading into nothing more than corpses, and time is still in its strange flux. The only thing I haven't checked is what's on the other side of the fog wall that surrounds my street. It seems to surround the area in a perfect dome, almost like it's sentient and chose to encapsulate our neighborhood. Something about the fog terrifies me, mostly because I believe that it's what is causing these things to happen. It's what is decaying my neighbors and causing time to not exist. If that's true, then I have no idea what's on the other side, and I don't even know if I'll be able to escape. I can only hope that it's not a solid wall, that it's literally just a fog. Despite my fears, despite the absolute terror that seems to be gripping on my soul, I think it's time I find out. Hello, my evil dream demons. Tonight's story was written by the amazingly incredible As the Raven Dreams. He is a close friend of mine, and I am absolutely honored to have narrated this. I do hope that you all enjoyed listening, and if you did, then please, by all means, go check out his channel. The link is in the description, and you should read his stories. He creates absolutely fantastic work. Thank you, Raven. I do appreciate you in letting me narrate that story. It's absolutely amazing. You are spectacular. So, as for now, I must bid you adieu and return to my realm where I can grant more nightmares.
There we go. Yeah, I kind of like that one. Remind me a little bit of the something from the SCP Foundation, honestly, combined with a little bit of like uh, Silent Hill, Groundhog's Day kind of thing, although more of kind of a Groundhog's Day, but different concept. Anyway, good job, Beautiful Nightmare.
Yeah, thank you.
I was like, you are still here, right?
I'm a figment of your imagination.
uh,
No,
that's also
I'm
fun. I'm glad
kidding.
the microphone picks you up, though. It sounds like a horror story in itself. I feel like I'm trying to remember if I ever wrote like a 2 sentence horror story like that. Yeah, and so now we come to the very last part of this. I didn't have time to put a graphic together for this like I did for Madame Frightmare last week. It has been an interesting week. However, I will get that to you. And you can, yeah, you'll have that to like encourage you and everything. But I did get some. I don't know if you have any idea what I'm talking about. I don't remember if you were here for Madame Frightmare live stream, but in any case, um, there were some friends of yours that had some nice, including Madame Frightmare, that had some things they wanted to pass on to you. Um, and got a few right here. So Madame Frightmare says, "Beautiful Nightmare is a wonderful author and writer and aspiring narrator. Her writing inspires me greatly, and I look forward to see what her imagination is coming up with next. She cares so deeply for others, and I'm so happy that I can call her friend. Much love, Bien." And Magatar says, "I think Bien is a talented author, a good narrator, and an amazing person. She's a staple in the community, and I'm so honored to call her a friend. She's truly special." And I had a couple more somewhere. This one from Silver Threads. Says her work is very visceral and engaging. The love and care she puts into describing the morbid acts of her characters is awe-inspiring, and I'm always excited to hear her next story to see what she comes up with. And the last one from Josie Kitty. Beautiful Nightmare's talent is astounding, and I wish she realized how spectacular her writing is. There's a heart. Love this lady and her amazing writing. So, yeah, I will get that graphic to you with all the stuff. You guys better be being good in the chat. Oh, don't crucify people. Just like turn away for 5 seconds. And, um,
I was in my feels, and then you said that. I can't stop laughing.
um, but yeah, that's about that's just about all I got. Probably better end this before people kill Boggs
Oh
painfully.
God, people leave Bogsy alone.
Just the
Leave
punching bag of
Bogsy
the
alone.
stream. Love you, Boggs. We're glad you're narrating and look forward to seeing what you're gonna do next. So yeah, hopefully you're
Oh,
able to catch that.
yeah, I caught that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, this was very fun. I was kind of nervous because I've actually never talked to you much before.
Yeah, you've
This was
never
fun.
talked to me like verbally and everything. Yeah,
Yeah. So
and yeah.
yeah, this was fun. Thank you for having me. I was actually very honored you asked.
Oh, yeah. I believe.
Even if you didn't know I wrote.
Well, hopefully you'll forgive me for that. Now that I know, I'll make sure to remember. Um,
I will forgive you for that. I will also drop you the links to my books.
Wonderful. Yeah. And that's just about everything. So thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate you guys making the chat fun and everything, and welcoming everybody. And there's so many messages. I'm kind of amazed. I don't know how many people we've had in total, but a lot of people dropping in and out. So yeah, so you guys head on over to I have the link um, in the description of the live stream. Check out Beautiful Nightmares channel, and you will enjoy it. Yeah. Um, I, I hate to cut it off like the chat and everything, but like probably better go and everything. I got to get working on that graphic. Yeah, have a good one, Nightmare.